And may I say once again, just in case I haven't said it enough, because I cannot say it enough, thank you so much to the Miss Earth USA organization for inviting me to be a judge and having this opportunity to meet fans and meet queens and meet you and learn so much. It is an invaluable opportunity, and you guys like really just made my year already, right in the beginning of January, right in the new year. I'm just so happy and so grateful, and I really hope you love the ladies that we chose for you, because we really did, you know, enjoy them and like picking them and think that they're going to make you so proud. So just thank you on behalf of myself and my court, who greatly appreciate the opportunity, and good luck in the future. I will be watching, of course, as will the rest of the world. You guys are such hard workers, so diligent, and I greatly appreciate all the work that you do. And I'm sure all of the ladies do as well. You should be so proud of yourself, and just thank you. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Yes, I am officially back at court. For those of you who were not aware, I was luckily invited to be a judge at Miss Earth USA this year, and I have spent the last few days in Orlando, Florida, with past queens, international queens, contestants vying for the crown, and I have so much to tell you. I have so much tea. I learned so much now. I want to preface this video by letting everybody know that I have been granted permission to speak on some of these things. I did ask beforehand. I just don't go off flapping at the gums, you know, blabbermouth and everything. I made sure that it was okay that I talked to you about this, and I did take notes while I was sitting at the judging table. I do want to state I did have some ulterior motives while I was in Florida. I did have some ulterior motives, okay? Being that I'm being provided this opportunity, even though it's fun, I want to do my best to learn as much as I possibly can while I'm in this environment. I don't think that there's very many people in existence who are able to kind of be the intersection that I am. So you have the organization, you have the directors, you have the contestants, and you have the reigning queens, and they all kind of operate differently, and they're all kind of separate. So while I was in Florida, I obviously wanted to have fun, but I wanted to take the opportunity to learn as much as possible, because I have access to all these different separate operations of how pageantry and the different organizations work, right? So I'm trying to see the contestants and see what their schedule is like and see what they're doing and how they're preparing. I'm trying to keep up with the contestants' directors, and I'm able to like sit down and have champagne and talk to the directors and really understand their side of things, what they're looking for, how they operate. And some of you, look, I've spoken to some of the directors, and by the way, I need to get cocktails with Kentucky Earth's director, because she's amazing. The directors are super fun, very elegant, eloquent women, and I think people make them out to be a lot scarier than they are, because honestly, they want queens to be involved, and I will do separate videos for different things I need to talk about, because there's so much knowledge that I was able to soak up. Like, I was doing my best to get as much knowledge as I possibly can to help different people, because there were questions that some of the directors had that they didn't know how to handle certain situations or certain controversies themselves. I was doing my best to kind of understand how the national organization was working and all the different duties that Laura has to go through. Laura's the director of the national organization, and she really like runs a tight ship, and every time I saw Laura, she was like a figment of my imagination. She was like a shadow in the wind. Like, one moment she wasn't there, and the next moment she was, and then she'd vanish. And I'm like, how is she doing this? Are there secret Harry Potter entrances and exits? Like, where is the room of acquirement? How is Laura doing this?
White shadow.
Because I swear she was taking secret tunnels to just appear certain places. And I'm like, oh my God, where'd she come from? But yet she always was very cool and collected. She's had experience, so she knows what she's doing. So I'm trying to like get a feel for all the different duties that she has to do. And then we had 4 international queens, past Miss Earths, that were present at the competition, which some of you who are watching my Instagram, you saw that I was also at their photo shoot and meeting them and taking photos with them. I made a brief appearance over on the Instagram channel of the Miss Earth USA, just to say hi to everybody, because you guys were super excited that I was going to be there. And I'm really happy that I got the opportunity to meet some of the queens in person whom I have judged or interviewed. It's nice to actually get to see them face to face. But through even the international queens, I'm learning what their schedule is like and how much hustle and bustle they're going through, even though they're not even the reigning queens sometimes, but they're going through interviews and photo shoots and appearances. So me in this hotel, I'm trying to learn as much as I possibly can from the contestants, the directors, the reigning queens, the organization, trying to soak up as much knowledge as I possibly can so that I can better give accurate information to the fans and future contestants about what it's all like. So I just have so much knowledge in my head right now, and I'm gonna do my best to translate all of it so that it can benefit any and all of you in all the different ways that it possibly can. This video, I know, is the one video I'm gonna do right away because it's the one thing that everybody I know has been waiting for. Even in the elevator, people would be like whispering, they're like, hey, you were taking notes. Are you taking notes for a future video? Which I did not think you guys wanted, you know, a video on Miss Earth USA, but apparently I need to do one, and which is fine. I love to talk about it. Ask some of the judges, okay? We were back there chit-chatting. It was so much fun. Oh, and yes, we have a new crown alert. Crown alert, brand new crown alert. I know it's never ending, my collection of tiaras and crowns, but I don't have one. It's not like I buy repeats, okay? I don't have one, anything that looks like this, so I couldn't help myself. It's adorable and I love it. I do want to give a special thank you to Miss South Carolina. Miss South Carolina was on some queen behavior after the competition ended. Being that this is my first time face-to-face really with other pageant people, you guys know how I am, okay? When it comes to myself, I don't really fully flesh things through and I don't think too much, especially of myself or my channel. I'm just over here happy and chit-chatting away about some of my favorite people, right? So after the show, we're taking photos with the crown queens and everything, and I am doing my best to like get a picture with Corinne Stalakis, and I heard that like some of you guys were in her comment section and you wanted a photo, and so I'm trying to get photos with all the queens, and there were a few people that knew the channel and are a part of our court that were present, and I wanted to be sure they got photos too because I love the queens, but it's not all about you because I like having my courtiers and the people that support me, so I'm making sure the few people, so I thought, those few people got photos as well, and then as far as I'm concerned, I wanted to kind of stay out of the way, you know, and I just kind of wanted to observe and watch and see how everything was happening. Well, unbeknownst to me, Miss South Carolina put the theater under siege while I was still on stage, and I had been told by one of the other judges that people were waiting for me outside of, you know, at the red carpet, and I didn't really understand what he was talking about because why would anyone be waiting for me? That doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, okay, maybe there's two people waiting for me. I will go. Miss South Carolina came in to like, you know, get me off the stage and be like, hey, you know, I wanted to get a photo with you and possibly speak to you briefly. And there's people outside waiting for you. And I'm like, well, huh? You know, and I'm happy that she even knows who I am. There's so many queens that are a part of the court that I legit did not know. I had no idea, especially in the United States. I didn't realize how many of the queens are actually members of the court. Hey, y'all, and I'm happy to see you in person. But Miss South Carolina was like, no, I've got people at this door and this door because we didn't know what door you were going to come out of. So we got people waiting for you to snatch you just in case so you don't escape, which was smart on her because me being who I am, I probably would have stuck to the shadows and excused myself away and vanished. But she was not about to let that happen. So I was able to talk to her and I walked out and she totally did have people guard the doors waiting for me. And I was so happy to see her mom there. Hi, mom of Miss South Carolina. Her mom also watches the channel as well. Mom was very happy and very excited. And I was very happy and very excited because I'm like, oh my God, I have friends. And turns out I have a lot of friends because I walked outside and I'm thinking people are just playing on the red carpet, having fun with each other. And it turns out I had people waiting for me, like more than two. Like I had a lot of people waiting for me and I'm like, what? Like, I could cry. I really could. Because it's my first time like experiencing that and, you know, people just looking at me and knowing me and excited to see me and I'm excited to see them. And I'm like surprised that I'm not the more excited party. So I made sure I stayed like an hour or 2 hours after, you know, the show to take pictures and say hi because I'm always very happy to see everybody. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who does support and came to say hi to me. I love to see you. I love to talk to you. I love it when you guys DM me. I do my best to like answer your questions or just be your internet girlfriend. Hell, I got to be your in-person girlfriend in some of these. Like I had so much fun meeting you guys and don't ever be a stranger. Okay. If you know I'm in town, if you know I'm around, if you know where to find me, by all means, come have fun. I have things to say once again. I have been granted authority by our queen and director, Miss Laura, I'm not breaking any rules, not that I know of, because I asked. I did my best to ask. I asked. Okay, so let's get into the competition because I know you guys want to know the tea. I know you want to know the tea. Let's talk the tea. Let's get the tea. There is a lot to talk about, so if this video happens to be like a little bit longer than normal, there's just a lot. There's just a lot, and I don't want to like, you know, skip out on anything. I want you guys to know as much as I possibly can give you. So let's talk the judges. Let's talk the judges. The Miss Earth USA has done a great job of having a very diverse, good range of dynamic judges, being both male and female. And I have to say this, not only am I very grateful that they have male judges on the panel, my time as a judge would not nearly have been as much fun as it was without these two men being present on the panel. They are amazing and they are knowledgeable on the women, on pageantry. They know what they want to look for. These men on the panel were able to draw my attention to things that maybe I wouldn't have thought of. And this is not to say because I like to talk pageantry. You guys know that I do. So every time, you know, a different show ended, I wanted to talk about it because I just get so excited and I want to know what other people think as well. Like, I'm a judge, but I'm still a fan. So I'm like, I want to talk about this. Who did you like? Who did you know, what did you think about this? And all of these judges are, you know, opinionated in their own right. And we're not going to be able to change each other's minds on different contestants. That's not what we're there for. We were mostly like a bunch of like friends sitting down, having tea, coffee, whatever, talking about our favorite contestants. And some people tend to think that sometimes I can be a bit harsh on my channel. If you think any of my videos have been harsh, you do not want to hear what the judges are saying when you're competing. Because I was not the harshest judge on that panel. I'm telling you right now, I probably would not have been even in the top 2. So if you think my words are harsh, you probably can't handle competition. You don't want to hear what the judges have to say because Lord have mercy, let's get into some of the small detailed things that you would think wouldn't have mattered that actually changed some of the rankings in competition. During competition, they had a fashion show that was called or themed Powerful in Pink. So obviously the theme was pink. Well, some women don't know what pink knows how to choose something in pink. And some of the judges noticed. And I'm not just talking about this competition. There are several competitions in which I was not even a judge, that I was in contact with judges. And this has happened across the board where if you are given directions to do something, whether it be a color, a style, whether it be you being directed to have a certain type of introduction during interview, the judges are looking at whether you follow directions. If you are given instructions to wear a pink outfit in a Powerful in Pink presentation and you choose an off slightly pink, maybe beige, the judges take note of that and they will mark you down for it. There are moments where I have been very nitpicky on my channel. There's a reason for that. When it comes down to top 5 and top 3, most of these girls have excelled in every element of competition. It's these little nitpicky things that separate a crowned winner from being a runner-up. So if you take offense at being nitpicked, you are perfectly suited to be like third runner-up. Like, have fun with that. I'm here to give you the truth. I'm just giving you the truth. That's just how these things work. Some of these girls, some of these runner-ups only lost because of very slight nitpicky elements, because that's how tiny the separation can be between winners and first runner-ups sometimes. Let's start this off with the Mrs. Division. The Mrs. Division for me was very tough to watch because there was no like in between. There was no gray area with you guys. Either you were a trained, prepared competitor or you were not ready to step on stage. There was no in between. I mean, none. Can I please ask what was going on with the shoes? Why were you guys wearing bricks on your feet? And some of them were like baby pink bricks, y'all. The shoes on the Mrs. Division. And the thing is, most people can't walk in them. You can't walk in them. So I don't understand what benefit you're getting from these gigantic off-color shoes. What did you think that these were gonna do? What was that gonna help you in competition? Where were we going with this? Because it made no sense. And I had a discussion about this. We had a whole discussion about specifically the shoes that were chosen to be worn on stage. I have 8-inch pleasure platform shoes, okay? And it's not because I was a former stripper. I was not a former stripper. I wore them under an evening gown. But even me, I know the rules of fashion. I know I need to do a video on gowns and fashion because clearly people just don't know. If you're gonna wear gigantic platform shoes, The first thing you should know is how to walk in them. How to walk in them. I wear mine just for the fun of it. I will cook in my platform shoes. So damn well when I walk, I know what I'm doing and I'm not gonna look stiff or ridiculous. But beyond that, you are not supposed to call attention ever to your feet during an evening gown competition. Your gown should not be too short. Your shoes should not be too eye-catching. We're not supposed to be looking at your toes. And we got girls in full big slits wearing 8-inch heels and they're brightly colored pink. Babe, what are you doing? If you're gonna wear a gigantic platform shoe to elevate yourself, or if it's helping you with your gown or whatever, they should not be seen. When I wore mine, I wore them under a gown with no slit, so you would not have been able to tell that I had on giant shoes. Nobody knew. That's what it's supposed to be. Why couldn't y'all wear clear, by the way? Why couldn't we have clear shoes? We got solid color shoes that didn't match the gown and you're showing them off. I don't wanna see your shoes, especially if they're huge. No. So when it came down to the Mrs. division, I think that there was a very easy consensus that the fight was going to be between Delaware and Minnesota. Both of these women were very well trained, very well presented, very well styled. I think both women could have benefited more from just being more at ease. They were so focused, specifically Minnesota. She was so focused on just being so perfect and so polished. And we've talked about this before. If you go too far with your perfection, it comes off as inauthentic. And she was kind of giving a little bit of pageant pattiness, but a lot of the well-trained Mrs. division were doing that. Not to say that there were a lot of you. There was probably like 3 or 4, but even with those 3 or 4, because they were so focused on being so perfected, they were losing a lot of the relatability and the authenticity that should have been coming through in their performance. But even still, it was a pretty easy consensus that it was going to be between Delaware and Minnesota. Now, it just so happens New Hampshire kind of snuck in there and she took one of the top 2 spots. I thought that Minnesota was going to be in the top 2 for sure. New Hampshire had an above average level of fitness, and I really think that helped her in competition and made her stand out. Her performance and presentations were still very well polished, but her fitness level gave her an edge because this is a Mrs. division and she was like knocking out the 20-year-olds. She really was. And I do want to emphasize that there is a difference between fitness and size. A lot of pageant fans and contestants like to connect the two. And I'm telling you, that is a huge no. Just because you're skinny does not mean you're fit, okay? I've seen some things. And just because you're a larger size does not mean that you cannot show a certain level of fitness. I know that I'm probably gonna have to do an update on that because in the past, maybe 2 years ago, I did a video on fat girls in pageantry. And I think we need to do an update on that and really go into depth between the difference of thinness and fitness because they are not, in fact, connected. Now, Miss New Hampshire, she did tend to be on the smaller side. I'm not giving her points for that. I'm talking about her level of fitness. I can tell she worked out. I can tell that she tried. I can tell that her body isn't just built off of her eating salad constantly. Her body is built off of muscle. It's muscle mass. That's what she's carrying. Mrs. New Jersey is another contestant that caught people's eyes. Mrs. New Jersey was competing whilst pregnant, visibly pregnant. And I'm not saying that she did well specifically because she was pregnant. She did well because she owned it. She was still glowy and happy and bubbly and fresh. She was honestly one of the contestants that wasn't struggling with the over-perfected performance. It really seemed like she was being herself. Now, she could have benefited from more technical skills, but her fresh, lively personality and her clearly and visibly being herself really kind of made her a little bit of a fave, and we liked seeing her on stage. She was just such a breath of fresh air, and of course, someone who's different. I mean, this is a woman in the Mrs. division who is a mother and is currently standing up there with a big belly in a bikini being pregnant, and she did great. We loved her. The winner, of course, came out to be Delaware. Delaware, I found out after competition, had competed. I think this was her 5th time competing for the title. So we didn't know, how this was going to happen. And we honestly, even when you're a judge, you do not know who's going to come out the winner. A lot of us we didn't know who was going to come out the winner. We just score and send it off. We don't see the final score. We don't see the final tally. So I'm sitting there, shaking as much as any fan because I don't know the outcome. But we were all pretty sure it was going to come down to Delaware or Minnesota. So when New Hampshire made it up there with Delaware, I was like, there's no way. It has to be Delaware. It came out to be Delaware, and her persistence paid off. She came out the winner. A lot of these girls are so much more captivating in person. Like, we're watching them on stage or watching them on your monitor is one thing. You see them like face to face and it's like, oh my God, girl. Oh my, so good. So like, you guys are so let's pop over to the teen division. Ooh, the teen division. Okay. There were questions about the teen division, and I understand why. And look, the teen division kind of gave us headaches. It's so difficult to discuss this, but I'm going to get through this. Okay. So some of my favorites for the teen division, and I'm reading from my little book that the Miss Earth organization gave me. Some of my favorites for the teen division were Virginia, Georgia, Kentucky, Pennsylvania. And then there were certain times where other girls would rise and fall. Some of the teens were a little bit inconsistent, like Southwest. I loved her in one competition. She dipped down in another competition, but she was also one that I was looking at. Michigan was one that I was looking at. So there were some girls that were, in contention off the bat. However, there are some specific things that are of concern when it comes to teenagers that I think some of the girls and their coaches overlook. The first thing of concern is the fact that they're teenagers. They are minors. When the average person, public, fan, or judge is watching a teen division pageant, in our brains, we're operating under the assumption that all of the people we're looking at are around the ages of 14, 15, 16 years old. That's where we're at. We are looking at minors, and we are very well aware of that's what they are. So as a fan, as a judge, as someone who is observing, we're expecting young adolescent women who are fresh, who are happy, who are bubbly, who can relate or inspire younger audiences and younger children. We are not expecting a fully fleshed out woman, but a girl with an air of innocence, confidence, power, who's not, able to overstate anything sensual or sexy or anything within that realm. One of the contestants who I think was really able to epitomize what a teen division competitor really should be is Virginia. She was so authentic and fresh and bubbly and happy and cute, and I adored her. Like, everything about her was just like gorgeous. She was well presented. She was confident. Like, everything about her made me want to hug her and just be like, you are a girl that's going to go far in life, because she already had that confidence, but she wasn't, full-fledged woman. She wasn't in her womanhood yet. She did such a really good job, and she was one of my personal faves. Teen division is about remembering that these are teenagers. And I heard the audience behind me, the host asked the audience, who do you want to win? Who are you looking to win? Who do you want to see, with the title when it came to the teens? And a lot of the audience was like, Georgia, we want Georgia, which I understand. Georgia was one of the ladies that was one of my faves. She was very well presented. She was very well trained. Like, she knew what she was doing. She was clearly a pageant veteran on that stage. However, Georgia was not performing like a teenager. She was not. She also wasn't really styled like a teenager. Georgia had on this really fluffy, fun, bright green gown, which loved the color. It looked great on her. It was fantastic. But this gown had a gigantic slit in it. Something that we've seen on like a Miss USA stage before, where the girls will wear these gigantic slits and they'll kind of flare their gown open and you get a nice glimpse of all that leg underneath. Georgia kept flashing the judges. Georgia would strike a pose and extend her leg out of this gown as if to appear sexy, as if to appear alluring. And I'm sitting here like, I'm watching 15-year-olds on stage. Don't try to seduce me. It's weird. We don't like it. This was not a teenager's performance. Now, I do believe Georgia is 18 or 19 years old, which would explain why she was doing this. But then you should have competed in the Miss Division. You should have just went over to the Miss Division if that's how you're going to compete. Because in a teen division, we're looking for a teenage competitor. And it's not even to say that Georgia was my favorite in gown, because my favorite in gown was Michigan, Maryland, Pennsylvania, maybe even Texas and Virginia. Like Georgia's, okay, look, Georgia wasn't even written down. I didn't realize Georgia wasn't even written down, but Georgia's not even written down. So I understand the audience's perspective when it comes on Georgia, because she did present as if she was a very well-trained queen. But you do have to see beyond that, and it can be difficult to do when you're currently being hypnotized by the woman that's in front of you. You forget what you're supposed to be looking for. It's my job not to forget what I'm supposed to be looking for. We did not want to see teenagers overdoing it. We did not want to see teenagers trying to appear sexy or alluring or enticing in any way. We were looking for really relatable girls. There was another contestant that had the tendency to really overdo it with the presentation, and that was Alaska. I loved her confidence, but she was just doing a lot. She's just doing a lot. You don't have to do too much. And this goes across all divisions. And we're going to talk about it when we get into the Miss Division too, because there were times where women were just doing too much, especially in evening gown when it's supposed to be all about grace and poise and elegance. I do believe that Pennsylvania was the one woman across everyone that had a consensus that she was beloved. She was the one contestant where there was no dispute. I think that she was in everybody's favor who was watching, that she was adored. And that's, I think, why she ended up coming out the winner. And her reaction, oh my God, her reaction, like, I was like, I'm not gonna cry. And some of you guys saw my reaction to her reaction on my Instagram because I was filming it live when she, oh my God, her reaction is so just, you got to see it, guys. You got to see it, because I was about to catch it in my eyes, and I had makeup on. I was like, no, Pennsylvania, you do not get to ruin my makeup. You don't. But I loved her reaction, and I'm so happy she won, and I think it's totally deserved. And we were all very happy that she was crowned. So we're going to move on to the Miss Division. The Miss Division is the division that sends their competitor to international competition. And some of you guys remember that I was one of the judges during this past international competition. So it's really fun for me now that I'm judging nationals. So some of the women that caught my eye in the Miss Division were Alabama. Alabama was, killing it with confidence and everything. DC, Florida, Iowa. She was giving a very classic, like, pageant queen vibe. Nevada, Mississippi, Oregon, Pennsylvania, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas. Now, all of these women were not necessarily consistent across all competitions. Some of them were, others of them were not completely consistent. They would be doing really good in like swimwear, not so good in evening gown. Some girls would do really well during preliminaries, and then they just flutter off when they made it to finals. Speaking of evening gown, I don't exactly know how to address this. I don't know how to bring this up. I don't know what to say. I just don't understand. I don't understand why West Virginia hated me. Like West Virginia, she clearly just doesn't like me. And I don't understand what I did that was so bad that would just cause her to traumatize me as much as she did. I just take it very personally, and I just don't understand why she would go as far as she did. Because West Virginia, she just doesn't like me, you guys. West Virginia came out in evening gown, full Batman cape flare, like cape flared to the heavens, like dress to the sky. And she held it the entire time whilst walking towards me, and I was scared for my life. I thought she was going to flying squirrel into the audience and like drop bombs on me, or falcon snatch me and fly me up to the sky and drop me from a building. Like I didn't deserve that. I was so scared. And you guys know that I have trauma from women holding their gowns in other competitions, but this was the worst I've ever seen, and I just can't breathe right now. Oh no, okay, we're not gonna, don't panic. Just think happy thoughts. Think of Abina. You remember Abina, right? Her knees were so straight, and And Puninka, remember Puninka? She was so graceful and poised. We're just gonna think happy thoughts, okay? I just breathe in and breathe out. And I just need a moment. Seriously though, I'm fine. I'm okay. This was the most WTF moment of the competition. Clearly I don't want to hear anything. Okay. Everybody is not a member of the court. So don't for a second think that she is a courtier, because none of my courtiers would dare. They would never do that to me. So maybe she didn't know. She hasn't been trained. She didn't understand. Look, I just had to bring it up because I think it's the craziest thing I've ever seen in pageantry. And I've seen falls. I've seen people fall off stage, but this was a whole nother ball gown. Somebody call my therapist. Hi, Mom. I'm your therapist. You're my therapist? Mm-hmm. I got to show you what this girl did. I called for my therapist. Mom showed up.
Therapist here.
Maryland was initially one woman that was on my radar day one. And that's because Maryland, I don't know what happened later on in the competition, but Maryland came out with the fire, y'all. Okay, I had to remember that as a judge, I can't fangirl, right? I can't be jumping up and down, yelling and screaming and doing what I do in my reaction videos because I'm a judge and I can't be like visibly screaming out favorites, even though I wanted to. Maryland damn near broke me, y'all. I'm Maryland, and there was two other women that damn near broke me. I'm sitting in my chair watching them, and it's very different when you're seeing them in person and they're coming at you and they're performing for you. So I'm sitting there in my chair. Maryland gets to the end of the runway and she's feeling herself, right? This was the first competition that I'm seeing of them. She's feeling the hell out of herself. She looks me dead in my face, right? She looks me dead in my face and then does like a slow, like, saucy, like turn away, but looking me in my eyes. And she just kind of like flexes away and flicks her hair at me as if to say, bitch, I'm good. I'm the best. I'm amazing. And damn straight you are. Like, damn straight you are. Like, I'm not even going to say like you, y'all. I did the like most throaty internal scream because it almost came out. Like, it almost came out when she did that to me. Like, I was like, like I was holding onto the table with my nails. Some of these girls had me like losing it. I'm like, oh my God, you will survive. You can get through this. It is so hard to maintain a straight face as a judge. It's me, okay? It's me. You guys know like how I react, obviously. Those are real, okay? So for me to keep my face under control is so freaking hard. I almost lost some nails. I thought I was gonna need a nail tech. Unfortunately, Maryland didn't maintain that energy throughout competition. She really just like fell off after that. But I think that was of special note because she made my heart skip a beat. But some of the women that I knew were gonna carry through the competition and who I was just like ready to cape for. I was ready to cape for y'all. I was ready to cape. Connecticut, DC, Pennsylvania. DC specifically, I tucked in my bra. I put her in my bra and cause you guys know that's where we put like our phones and our most valuable things because they don't make pockets for women. So I didn't have a pocket for DC because manufacturers are misogynist. And so I had to tuck DC in my bra to protect her because I'm like, baby, I'ma carry you. I'ma carry you as far as I possibly can because sis was giving it. She was hitting it. She was slaying it from day one. From day one. Now, see, DC had me wanting to fight, okay? DC and Connecticut and DC were one after the other. And it was like these two girls were fighting each other because it was like bam, bam, one and the other. Like they were killing it, both of them. But DC never let up. Now, look. I told you guys afterwards, like some of the judges would get together and we'd like dish and be like, oh, who's your favorite? Who's your favorite, right? Judges had me wanting to fight. They had me wanting to fight because I felt like I was the only one seeing DC. In the beginning, I felt like I was the only one seeing her because people were just not feeling what I was saying. And I'm like, wait, I'm the only one that's over here checking out DC like future queen. Am I the only one? You guys. And the judges are so funny. The judges are so funny because there were certain women that like other judges would love that I didn't love. And they're looking at me like I'm psychotic. And you like we're sitting here in the judging room or in our own like personal quarters talking about the girls threatening to burn each other's houses down, you know, with love though, because we love each other. And it's like, I will give you a place to stay, but I'm still gonna like pipe bomb your car, okay? Like the judges were super fierce. They're like, how do you not love her? And that's how I felt about DC, and I was hurt. I took it personal. Like, how you not loving DC? How? She's amazing. DC was amazing in every element of competition. She was giving sauciness. She was giving flavor. She was giving the chicken bouillon to the dish. Like, everything about DC was so confident, but she knew how to control it to where she wasn't overdoing it. She would have a lot of fun in swimwear and then really tone it down during evening gown and do her best to present with elegance. And I truly highly appreciated that. We get into finals and I'm still stuck on DC. Now I'm starting to come to terms with I'm going to lose Connecticut because she just wasn't maintaining the same, high level of energy and confidence that she was in the beginning of the competition. She's really like starting to trail off, but DC's holding on. And I'm like, babe, I'm still got her tucked in there. Okay, right there. She's right here. But another woman who really did have a consensus to where everybody did love her was Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, everybody seemed to truly be impressed by. And then I'm sitting here like, okay, y'all impressed by Pennsylvania, but you don't love DC. Like, because Pennsylvania is another one of those girls who is doing a really saucy, confident performance. And I did have a conversation with one of the judges as to why certain things were happening. One of the judges was like, look, I don't even know what to do about this because I'm choosing favorites. And so a lot of my favorite girls, like all the women that are at the top of my list, are ethnic women. They're all Black women. And he's like, I don't know what's happening. And I told him the same thing. I'm like, okay, so it's not just me, because all the girls that were like really high on my list were Black women. And then I had Oregon like snuck in there around like 7 or 6, because she was one of my faves too. So we were looking at each other and we're like, okay, so it's not just us. And it's like some of these Black women are doing really good. And we had a very eye-opening conversation as to why this may be. And I'm going to do a separate video on it. And trust me, just trust me on this. You're going to want to hear it, because I think that we all had a revelation on what was happening here. Because I think we've all noticed within recent years that there have been more Black contestants being crowned queens nationally and internationally. We've seen a lot more Black contestants vying for titles and participating in competitions. So there's just been this surge of diversity. And I think a lot of people are attributing it to 2020. And I'm like, it's not 2020. So I need to also do an update on my past video was called Racism in Pageantry, because I think that's something that was widely accepted, was present, but there have been some developments and it's definitely gotten better within the pageant world. But I think that after having this conversation with this other person, there is a lot to be learned by current contestants. If you watch that video that I'm going to film on what is empowering and making some of these women suddenly surge to the top so much that we've seen in, recent years. Just trust me on this. Just trust me on this. It's a video you're going to want to watch, okay? Because it doesn't just have to do with the Black women. It also has to do with women that differ from the beauty standards, such as Emma Looney, who placed 5th runner-up, and the contestant that we had participating in a wheelchair who did like phenomenally. These women who stand outside of what is considered the typical beauty standard, I think, have unlocked something very valuable that can be taught or teach future competitors, current competitors, about how to do better in competition. So I'm going to do a video on that, but it's a conversation, so it has to be separate. Back into what we were talking about before. But this young woman who was in a wheelchair, they did extremely well. Extremely well. And specifically this woman, she did exactly and everything I ever wanted from a contestant ever who would be attempting to compete in a wheelchair. I did a video in my Patreon for my coterie specifically discussing contestants that possessed disabilities. And I remember saying this. But I think there's a discussion to be had about every competitor in any system who comes to the stage with any type of illness, disease, disability, they still deserve to be treated as legitimate. So if a woman comes onto the stage and she's in a wheelchair, we cannot then sit there and critique her for not having a walk. Like, that's just evil. That's just cruel, like, obviously. But that does not mean that she can't give a good performance, and that does not mean that we shouldn't view her performance as a legitimate, like, competition or threat. If you're in a wheelchair and you're competing in Miss Universe, Miss Grand, Miss Earth, whatever, you better give the best wheelchair performance of your life. You better slay in that wheelchair. I expect your turns to still be clean, sis. You should still be rolling in that chair. Your cape should still be flying. Your styling should still be on point. You are still a competitor. And I believe that these women who come and they are willing to show their disabilities want to prove that I can do just as much as everybody else. I can still win. I can still do that. And I believe that you can. I legitimately believe that you can have disabilities, you can have illnesses, and you can still be a threat. So just mark my words from now on, because this is a learning lesson for me. Next time I see any competitor with any type of disability or neurological incapacity or something that is affecting their ability to compete or is putting major barriers in their way, I'm gonna make it a point to still treat you like a competitor. If, like I said, if I see a girl in a wheelchair, girl, I'm still gonna get your wheelchair performance better be the sickest thing I ever seen. You better be rolling over the competition. You better be rolling, backing over their hopes and dreams. I want to see it. This girl did everything I asked. She did everything I ever could have wanted. I'm almost like suspicious that she saw my video and is a part of the coterie, but I know everybody who's in my coterie, so it couldn't have been her unless she's using an alias, but either way, she did phenomenal. So how is it that these women who are so far outside of what typical beauty standards are doing so well? I'm gonna have a conversation about that because I think I know what it is. But Pennsylvania, I think, was the consensus amongst everyone. She was the one that had the least amount of debate. I think everybody like collectively loved her, even though I still had my DC tucked right here. I still had my DC tucked right here. And like, I was fighting. Okay, I was fighting because I'm like, how do you not love her? How do you not see her? How do you not adore her? Okay, how? Finals for the Miss Division was so fun to watch. I personally don't think that Connecticut maintained the same level of confidence and energy that she had day one. She didn't have that. DC, however, she came out better. DC came out better. Her evening, oh my God, everything, her finals performance was like, I thought that she might win this. I thought, but then in my head, I'm like, some of these judges are just not, they're not feeling her. And I'm sad about it. I'm sad. Up until DC got called into top 5. And I'm like, I did not expect DC to make top 5 because from what I was hearing, a lot of people weren't feeling her. But I think that DC's miraculous performance, which was somehow better than her prelims, maybe like won over some people, maybe got her some extra points. Because when she hit top 5, I was like, oh my God, yes. And as I said earlier, when it comes to top 5, it's only very slight differences that is the difference between a crown and a runner-up. It's only very, very minuscule things. And while watching Pennsylvania in competition, I got concerned because Pennsylvania, I think, had a rush and a surge of energy just knowing that she was so close to the crown, like she knew she was getting there. She was started to do a little bit too much with her gowns. Like when they were wearing the fashion gown, it was the green thing with like a cape. She was whipping it and throwing it around a little bit much. And I'm like, babe, don't do that. Like, you got this. People love you. We love you. We can't tell you that we love you, but we do. Don't do too much. I think she's much better suited to swimsuit because swimsuit lets you be a little bit more, you know, confident and a little bit more wild and a little bit more free. Evening gown, though, she was doing it a little bit too much. Again, evening gown is all about elegance and grace and poise, and she was giving a lot of power and strength and confidence. And I'm like, babe, give the poise, give the grace. And I was really worried because my favorite top 2 were DC and Pennsylvania. And I'm like, she might get knocked down points-wise when it comes to this gown performance because she wasn't giving the grace that was necessary. Meanwhile, DC, she came out the cut. She came out the cut with princess energy. I mean, good Lord. And I remember discussing Pennsylvania, and there was a little bit of contention when it came to her gown. And remember, when it comes to top 5, it's only very small things that separate these women. So you may think a gown is not a big deal, but it can cost you your win. And there were some people who had thoughts about the gown. And I understand where it's coming from because she's such a flamboyant, strong, confident woman, and she really likes to be fierce. You can't overstate that type of performance by also putting her in a very fierce, sultry, like alluring gown, a very sexy gown, because it would be too much. And I know I haven't done a video yet on styling, but styling is all about trying to balance your competitor. So if you have a very boring queen who doesn't have like the biggest personality. She's very withdrawn. She's not very enticing. She has trouble engaging an audience. You don't put her in a white gown. You don't do that, because then you're just overstating her simplicity. You put her in a gown that's eye-catching, that's a bit more fun, that has a bit more uniqueness to it, so that it makes her seem more unique, makes her seem more eye-catching. So if you have a competitor that's very sexy, very alluring, powerful, confident, you do not want to overstate that or tip the scales in one direction so much that you are putting her in a very sexy, enticing, overbearing gown. You're overstating her strongest attributes, and she doesn't need it. What you want to also do is pull other attributes into balance with that. So when it came to Pennsylvania, I think she really would have benefited from like a gown like this. A gown that she could have flared out a little bit and had a bit more fun to it. A gown that maybe would have given her a bit more of a regal, queenly presence, while still allowing her to have a little bit of bubbly fun, because she does love to throw some fabric. I think that would have been better suited to her, because some people were side-eyeing the gown a little bit, and I was concerned that it might cost her. Now, those of you who are on my Instagram, watching my Instagram as the show was happening, I was filming when they called top 3, because at top 3, my judging duties are done. I'm done. It's over for me. All my scores are handed in, so all I'm doing is trying to see who's gonna be the winner. I know I'm a judge, but I don't know who won. But they called out who the top 3 were, y'all. It was my fave top 3. It was my fave top 3. It was my top 3. I was at the table like, yes. I was like, yes, that's my top 3. I said it in my Instagram video, like, that is my top 3. It was Connecticut, it was DC, it was Pennsylvania. So I was happy and chilling and ready and good. And I was just like, snaps. I was like, snaps. And I felt good about myself, because while DC was performing, I'm looking at the other judges like, don't act like you didn't see that. I'm over here flexing DC as if she's my daughter, okay? I'm like, you know you saw that performance. You know you did. Like, it was amazing. So when she made it to top 3, I was, but when she made it to top 2, I could not contain myself. Straight face was gone. Straight face was gone. There was no poker face. I'm over here like, oh my God, because my 2 favorite competitors were at the top 2. So I know I'm gonna be happy either way. But I did not expect DC to make it that far, because, you know, some of my other people was just like not having it. But I think she won some people over, right? I thought she won some people over. So I'm sitting here and I'm waiting, and I know I'm gonna be happy with any outcome. I know I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna be happy, right? But then they call Pennsylvania, and I start screaming, and the crowd is screaming, and Pennsylvania's looking like, what? Pennsylvania looks like she got shot, y'all. That's what Pennsylvania looked like. She looked like someone gut punched her, and she just did not know how to handle it. Pennsylvania won, and I am about to be her loudest, most flamboyant, most annoying supporter, because not only did I get to be a part of the decision that crowned her queen, Miss Pennsylvania is also a member of the court, y'all. So is DC, by the way. We have a lot more queens in the court than I thought, but Pennsylvania is in the court, and Pennsylvania is going to international competition. And Pennsylvania, I posted this on Instagram yesterday, Pennsylvania is gonna terrorize the international competition, and I can't wait for it. I don't think I've ever been able to say the United States is a threat so far ahead of competition, because look, sometimes we just don't have powerhouse energy, but we picked a powerhouse this time. We got her, we got a threat, and I'm happy. I'm about to flaunt, I'm about to flex, I'm about to, like, she is the weapon I'm about to be throwing at everybody. You Filipinos, you know I love you, like, we're fans over here, we're friends over here, but when it comes to international competition, y'all better come with a nuke. You better come with a nuke. You had better come with a sea to land air missile. You better have stealth commandos with you, because our queen, she about to snatch it from everybody, Venezuela, where? Colombia, you might as well not even come. Don't even come. It's fine. Vietnam, you tried. Like, I love this queen. I love this queen. I am so happy with this queen. Like, it don't matter how big your army is. This girls can take each and every one of you at the same time in hand-to-hand combat. I love this queen so much. And that was at the forefront of my mind. I'm like, I really, really want a queen that is going to do the organization proud, isn't going to give, you know, Laura or, you know, the people that work for the organization a hard time, make them happy, and do really well internationally. Miss Earth USA has been doing really well internationally, but I really want a queen that is just a threat, that I can just put in front of anyone, and clearly you can see that she is a top competitor for the crown. I want a queen that's gonna be a favorite. Pennsylvania's gonna be one. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm not. I am incredibly happy with the decision that we made collectively. Yes. So this is my little tidbit on my thoughts when it came to judging Miss Earth USA. So much fun, so many wonderful things. I learned so much. We have a fabulous queen. I got many pictures with her. I got like Instagram stories with the ladies. I've been having a freaking blast, and hopefully you guys are able to learn a little bit from this and take some knowledge from this. Some of these girls, and I know specifically one of these girls, only really lost out on a crown due to like one judge. Like sometimes it really comes down to one judge, and that one judge will see you give a lackluster press interview, and that'll be it for your crown. You might get second or first runner-up, but you're not going to be crowned. And this happens when it comes down to like top 3 and top 5. What separates a winner from a runner-up can be the smallest little detail. And I can say that that definitely did happen in this competition. Small details really did affect outcomes of some of the crownings. So when you hear me being nitpicky about your social media, because social media played a factor too, you would think, oh, well, it's a small portion of your score. It mattered. Social media sometimes makes the difference. Social media, your gown, your behavior. Yes, the organization and staff are influencing your score. So some people think every decision is in the hands of the judges. It is not. Us judges can love the hell out of you, can love the hell out of a contestant. But if the staff, if the organization know that you are terrible behind the scenes, quite honestly, I don't care if they overrule our decision. I do not want to have a woman who's going to misrepresent the United States going on an international competition and making us look bad because we sent the International Miss Earth organization a terrible, poorly misbehaved queen. So those things really do, they matter. And maybe you guys will take that into consideration in the future before you guys lash out at an organization or some judges or a contestant. Sometimes it's just something small that really knocked your favorite out and you don't know because it's something that wasn't on stage, or it's something that only a few people saw. It was an interview that only a few people saw. That sometimes really does play a factor. But in the comment section below, let me know what you think about the Miss Earth USA competition that is available here on YouTube. You can go watch it. Who are your favorites? You know, are there any women that you want to see return to compete? Make sure you give the video a thumbs up. If you are not a member of the court, consider hitting the subscribe button so I can see your lovely face again. I love you, I'll miss you, and you know I will be back in a future video. Bye!